Around here, there's a bunch of crooks around here.
You ain't supposed to be in that jail, boy. Get out of there, man.
No, that's a total no, man. VAT coming.
Is my salary going up?
Bahamian people gotta wake up.
This is my 5 cents and I approve this message.
Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned into NB12 Weekend, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, the hotel union says despite Baha Mar rising along the western skyline, there are still basic issues that have yet to be resolved. A woman whose deaf and partially blind son went missing weeks ago is still desperately searching. Former State Minister Fenton Nemore says a BEC raid is all but certain. Plus, the latest on efforts to curb youth violence and the disabled community praising the passage of a new bill. I'm Paige McCartney. We've got those stories and more straight ahead on NB12 Weekend. Welcome once again to NB12. Less than 6 months before its December opening, leaders of the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union say Baha Mar has done nothing to reassure the union that the $3.5 billion mega resort will meet its deadline. Questions over the developer's ability to meet its December 2014 target date arose following a legal battle with Morgan's Hotel Group, which signed a hotel management agreement with Baha Mar in 2011. Morgan's has since been replaced with SLS Hotels. However, Hotel Union President Nicole Martin says there's been very little communication and it's starting to concern them.
To be very honest with you, the Hotel Union and Bahama executives have had very little discussions as of recent times. It is starting to concern us that we believe that Bahama is not honoring what it would have said to us initially. And we are also concerned that if it does not meet the deadline, what will that mean to the thousands of persons who are expecting to be employed? Again, deadlines are just a projected timeline, and sometimes they change because of whatever factors. But we've not been reassured by Bahama that they will or will not meet the deadlines.
In May, resort officials shot down speculation that the opening of the multi-billion-dollar facility would be delayed. Martin says while the union is not feeling warm and fuzzy about Baha Mar, she wants the resort to succeed.
I think everyone is concerned because Bahama is the next big thing. And so any delays will not, everybody wanted to open because we have workers who would have applied and they're just waiting. So.
And as we noted, Baha Mar officials have repeatedly told us that the resort will open on time. In other news tonight, a mother is pleading with police and the public to help her find her missing son. Genevieve Monroe says her son James, also known as Deaf Boy, has been missing for over a month and she has had no answers on his whereabouts. James is deaf and blind in one eye and she says he's defenseless. She said she's been driving the streets searching for him every day, and after nights of heartache and pain, she just wants answers.
About 2 weeks after the 16th of June, I was putting up some stickers, some flyers in the area of Fox Hill by Sandilands, and 2 of the workers came out and was looking to what I was doing. And they said, this boy, we just saw a deaf boy, the police had him here to admit him on the ward. But they didn't take him because they didn't come with the right procedures. So I asked them, what is the right procedures? They said, you'll have to take him to A&E, and the doctor would have to write up some paperwork, and they'll have to bring him, the ambulance would have to bring him into Sandilands. So they told me to go into Sandilands and see if he is there. I went into Sandilands, I spoke to the person who's in charge, Miss Dr. Grant, social service. She checked. He was not there.
Monroe said after numerous attempts to see police officials seeking their help, she's been turned away every time with no answers and has no idea if her son is dead or alive. She said as a Bahamian woman, she feels like the police department could do a better job in assisting her, and she only wants answers in some kind of direction that will lead her to her son.
And I would like to, if Mr. Greenslade, the authority, Mr. Boynett Nottage, I would like for you all to please, I am begging you all to please assist me with my child. He is deaf, he cannot talk, and he's blind in one eye. Please, y'all need to help me.
We reached out to police and they said the search for James continues. If anyone has information on the whereabouts of James Monroe, please contact the police or his family at 535-4134. Well, former Minister of Environment with responsibility for BEC Fenton Nemour is blasting the corporation once again. Nemour said that electricity rates are on the rise and is warning BEC customers to prepare for a rate increase very soon. Simone Davis reports.
Nemour said with the coming of value-added tax, there will be increased rates at BEC that Bahamians will face in about a year and a half. He said this is because BEC Chairman Leslie Miller has increased his operational staff by far more than the company can afford.
What I want Bahamians to also put in the back of their minds, since I have also told you we're going to have some more challenges with BEC, one of the things that BEC is going to have to present to the Bahamian people, and they're going to do it within the next year and a half to 2 years, is they're going to propose a rate increase. Bahamians should be prepared for that. If you're talking about VAT, I'm talking about a rate increase plus VAT. Bahamians need to be prepared for it.
Nemour also noted that although Miller said that he decreased overtime, he claims that Miller also increased his operational staff, which exceeds what he decreased. He said this would be a burden to the company and customers who will be forced to pay more for electricity.
At BEC, they are now hiring more people. Their head count is increased. This will become a burden for BEC when they get into the privatization phase. It is a burden now. Mr. Miller said that he has decreased overtime. Yes, he may have decreased overtime, but he has increased salary expense, which far exceeds what he's decreased in overtime. What sense does it make to decrease overtime by $3 million, but then increase salary by $10 million? That makes no sense whatsoever.
We have numbers to verify that $10 million?
Well, that is a figure that I have calculated on a rule of thumb from BEC. But that figure can be, ask BEC the question. Why don't you just ask them, what is the figure? What is this salary? And ask BEC, not Mr. Miller, because he's not good with figures. Ask BEC, Mr. Kevin Basden.
Our news team tried to reach out to the BEC officials to confirm this information, but they were unavailable up until news time. Reporting for NB12, I'm Simone Davis.
Well, Director of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation, Peter Dowdy, is supporting the recently passed disabilities bill and is looking forward to its implementation, claiming that it's both morally responsible and financially feasible for the Bahamas. Dowdy said he was pleased with the legislation's grace period for compliance because it would enable Bahamian businesses to adapt at a reasonable pace. However, he noted that it's the government that may be among the worst hit in terms of the cost of adaptations required. He said he doesn't believe it will be really onerous on people, and there are lots of things that can be done without incurring major costs. Gowdy, head of the Chamber's Labor Division, said he welcomes the bill's mandate for the development of a National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, which will serve as a body corporate for a host of services, including employment opportunities. According to the bill, the Commission shall provide a list of employable persons with disabilities, and where such persons are not available for employment, the Commission may issue to the employer a certificate of exemption from the requirement prescribed under subsection. Gowdy felt that strong communication between employers and NCPD would ensure that Bahamian businesses meet the new employment stipulations. While the passing of the Persons with Disabilities Equal Opportunities Bill on Wednesday is just the beginning for the disabled community, which now has to sensitize Bahamians to what the law now affords, according to Chairman of the National Council for Disabilities, Townsley Roberts. He said now a committee will be formed to ensure that policies that come about because of this new bill will be adhered to, but he says he knows it won't be easy. The bill makes it law that businesses with 100 employees or more employ a minimum number of disabled people. Also, building owners have been given 2 years after the legislation is brought into force to make their structures disability friendly.
It's not just to benefit us. See, I think people get confused that this legislation is just not about disabled persons. This is about all Bahamians, because think of it this way. You go on the road, get knocked down, you become disabled today. You get sick, you have a stroke, you become disabled today. As you grow older, the natural progression is your sensory, your hearing and your sight tends to fail. You become, your mobility is affected. So this is something that anybody can be affected by, not just the persons like us you're looking at. It can happen. So this bill will give the rights and respect to all Bahamians who may end up disabled. So most people sit there and they look at us, oh, it doesn't affect me, but you need to understand, this is to protect you in case of a problem. All of us not born disabled.
Of the more than 10,000 disabled people in the Bahamas, only 17% of those who are 15 or older are employed, according to a 2010 census figures that were released by the Department of Statistics in February. And while those statistics are daunting, Roberts said the disabilities bill gives the disabled community some hope.
We have the same dreams that every individual in the Bahamas have. They want to have a job, to maintain their own families, to be independent, to have families, to have a home. As it is now, it's impossible. You know, we are looked as second-class citizens. Many times I think people looked even below immigrants because we don't get the opportunities. We can't, in many cases, many members of my organization can go out there and ask for things because no one respects them. We look at them as nothing.
And the new bill also seeks to eliminate discrimination against disabled people in other areas, including housing, access to public buildings, public transportation, and education. 26-year-old Kaylisha Roll, who is bound to a wheelchair, said the bill only gives the disabled a voice in terms of the law. She added that it's Bahamians who must change their hearts and attitudes toward differently abled people.
We have a lot more in respect or in aspects of actually allowing persons to really, you know, come in contact with these disabled persons, because we are, as persons with a disability, as some of are one of the most, you know, one of God's blessed and gracious gifts to be around some of us. You understand? It's like not many persons may understand in aspects of a disability, but when you have a disability, it's like you should cherish that person with a disability instead of trying to hurt them.